Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namami buddham gunasagarantam santa sada hontu sukhi averam kayo jiguncho sakalo dugandho gachanti sabbe maranang ahanca samanta cakkavalesu atra gacchantu devatam saddhammang munirajassa sunantu sagga mokkadam Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Dhammasavana kalo ayam badanta Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa Jara dhammo hi jarang anatitoti abhinhan paccavekkhitambang ittiyava purisena va gahattena va pambajitena vati. Homage to the exalted one, the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today we are going to discuss one of the discourses in Buddhism. It says as Thana Sutta. Thana means the places that we should reflect on. And the topic is today that frequent reflections. Buddha says, every person must reflect on 5 things in our life. Why do we need to reflect on these things? Because these are the realities in our life. And little by little we discuss it. Actually, first of all, we should know the purpose of Buddhist doctrines. All Buddhist doctrines focus on getting rid of suffering and achieve the real happiness, because the main purpose of everyone who are born in the world is happiness. And unfortunately, people wish become happiness, but day by day they go away from happiness. The reason is that they always trust in outside. They believe that suffering arises outside. In their entire life, they find happiness going outside. In this world, Buddhism explains that how we achieve the real happiness. Our real happiness depends on purification of our mind. We should recognize the reasons that cause us suffering. And as we mentioned before, and as we mentioned again and again, there are 3 reasons that steal our happiness. They are negative thoughts, unwholesome emotions, unwholesome roots. They are greed, anger, and delusion. In some levels, we can reduce craving or greed and anger. But when we go to the deeper level, when we are going to eradicate craving and anger completely, we have to overcome ignorance. We should understand what ignorance is. Our spiritual path, our success of our spiritual life completely depends on recognizing delusion and reducing delusion. Here, when we consider the Buddha's message, there are some qualities of the Dhamma what Buddha taught. Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo. Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Sanditiko, visible results. Akaliko, immediately effective. Ehipassiko, calling one to come and see. Opanaiko, leading onwards. Paccatthang veditabbo vinyohi, to be personally realized by the wise. These are the qualities of the Dhamma. Among them, two of them are very important. They are visible results and immediately effective. When we go to do other things, it takes some time when we are going to get the results. But the special thing in practicing Dhamma, when we practice Dhamma, immediately we can see the result. When somebody blames us, we can understand that situation and we can overcome suffering. Not only that blaming, but when our close relative or friend dies, we can overcome from that suffering. When we fall down to bed and when we face some severe sicknesses, we can overcome that suffering too. That is the interesting thing in practicing Dhamma. Because we make a real refuge inside, but ordinary people always trust in outside. Their security, their insurance is outside. That is why they pay for insurance, but when they receive their insurance, they have passed away. The benefits are received by their relatives and friends. And here, the very important thing, we get the results when we are living. While we are living, we can get the benefits that we deposit. But the ordinary people get their benefits after they die. They can never get the real benefits while they are living. But here, our effort is not waste. Our effort, our courage is helpful to our life. Because while we are living, before we die, we can get the results throughout practicing the Dhamma. And here Buddha says, there are 5 things that we always should reflect on. Buddha says, Jara dhammom hi jarang anatitoti abhinhan paccavekkhana. Jara means decay or old age. It should be realized by everyone. Buddha says, a woman or a man, a householder or one gone forth or monk should often reflect on thus, I am subject to old age. I am not exempt from old age. This says that the nature of our physical body, decay. Day by day, our physical body is going to old age, decay. But the ordinary people don't think it. They think when their body changes, they can control it. They try to control their body again and again. Finally, they understand they can control, then they give up all efforts But here, as wise people who are listening to Buddha's message, before we become that situation, we have realized this nature, and when we become the old age, we have overcome that suffering. Even though physically we are going to old age, mentally we are in young age. Because we have overcome depending on outside material things. Not only outside things from our body, but in this physical body, we don't trust even this physical body. Because we completely depend on our intelligence, our wisdom. And Buddha says, everyone should reflect on that. I am subject to decay. And this is the first thing. And the second one, Vyadi Dhammo me Vyadin Anatitoti Abhinhan Paccavekkhana Ittihava Purusenava Gahattenava Pabajitenava. A woman or a man, a householder or a monk should often reflect, thus, I am subject to illness. I am not exempt from illness. This physical body, any moment, can be ill. Any time, this physical body is subject to sickness. This is the nature of our life. If we realize this reality, actually, when we become sicknesses, before we become sicknesses, we have overcome this suffering. But ordinary people are getting ready to overcome this suffering when they reach sicknesses. But the interesting thing, very important thing that we develop, before we become that challenge, we have overcome this suffering. That's the second one. The third one, Buddha says, Marana Dhammo me Maranan Anatitoti Abhinhan Paccavekkhana. A woman or a man, a householder or a monk should often reflect on that I am subject to death. I am not exempt from death. We should reflect on it again and again daily. When we have this understanding, before we reach this challenge, we try to overcome this suffering. But people don't think it until they reach the death. If we have this understanding, we try to get the result from our life. Before we die, we get the result from our life. And also, we don't suffer when we go to die. Not only in our death, but when our close relatives and friends reach their death, we have overcome that suffering. Actually, in our life, we face once in our death of suffering, but we have to face hundreds of suffering of our close relatives and friends' death. If we have this understanding, not only we overcome our suffering of death, we can overcome the suffering of our other relatives and friends' death too. That is the interesting thing. If we have this understanding in one side, we try to develop our mind to the maximum level. And also, if we have close relatives and friends who are subject to bring us suffering when they die, before they die, we help them to develop their mind. Then after they die, they can go to a blissful life. If they have a better life after they die, actually we should not suffer, because now they have reached a better life. When your friend or relative goes to a better country, richer country, are you unhappy? No. We are happier because they are successful. And like that, if we have close relatives and friends, when they die, if we are subject to suffer, we try to help them. We help them to develop their mind, their spirituality, by practicing Dharma, by practicing 3 meritorious deeds and spiritual path. The third one, Buddha says, Sabbe piyehi mana bhavo, nana bhavo, vina bhavo. A woman or a man, a householder or a gone forth should reflect often, I must be parted and separated from everyone and everything dear and agreeable to me. People usually don't think it. They think their nearest and dearest are forever with them. When they are separated, they can't bear this separation. That is why they cry. That is why they are suffering. And before this situation, if we can understand this reality, then we make a real refuge. We get the result through our life, increase in developing our mind to the maximum level. And the fifth one, Buddha says, Kammasakomi kammadayado kammayoni kammabandhu. Even though we give up everything, we have a relative, we have a dowry, we have a resort that never leaves us. What is that? Karma or actions that we do with intention that never leaves us. Even though we have to leave our good appearance, young age, health and our life, but our karma that we did with intention follow us from birth to birth. Sometimes people don't believe it, but other 5 things we can believe. If someone doesn't believe the next birth, it doesn't matter. But everyone believes the first 4 things. That is why Buddha says we should find a spiritual teacher. And also that is why we should practice the sublime truth. If we don't have these challenges in our life, actually we don't need a spiritual teacher. We don't need to practice a spiritual path if we don't have these challenges in our life. These are the reasons that a Buddha appears in the world. This is the reason that a Buddha brights in the world. That is why we should develop our mind. And the 5th one, karma, that is one of the main doctrines and teachings in Buddhism. That is the first understanding on the path of liberation. When we are going to increase our wisdom, the first step of wisdom is the understanding of karmic law. Whatever we do with intention, physically, verbally or mentally, we will have the same result. Here intention or chetana or volition is very important. When our mind is polluted, our results are negative. When our mind is pure and calm, then results are fruitful. If we have this understanding, we try to overcome negative thoughts and we try to develop positive thoughts. Increase in our positive thoughts, we do some good activities, physically, verbally and mentally. And here, it is very important, the other things, that understanding of the karmic law. Before Buddha appeared in the world, there were some ascetic people who believed the karmic law. It is not a new topic in Buddhism. But after Buddha appeared in the world, Buddha realized, discovered, proclaimed and emphasized a very important thing: how we overcome karma, actions, volitional actions. People had realized before Buddha appeared in the world what is the result of negative karmas, what are the results of positive karmas. They had realized before Buddha appeared in the world. After Buddha attained enlightenment, Buddha explained how we overcome this circle of samsaric journey. That is the interesting thing. According to Buddhism, there are four karmas. Paccavekkhana kammang khandhan khandha vipakam. There are some actions that are black, which consequence black results. The actions are black, the results are also black. When our mind is polluted, our actions are incorrect, our words are incorrect, then results are negative or black. Buddha says in first karma that there are some karmas that are black, which consequence black results. As the result of these karmas, actions, beings go to hell realms after they die. Buddha realized this truth by his own intelligence. He saw people who do the bad things go to hell realms. With the good understanding, with his discoveries, Buddha advised us not to do black karmas, black actions. This is the first thing among four karmas that Buddha has explained. The second one, sukhang sukha vipakam. There are some karmas that are white, which consequence white results. Karmas are white or pure, the results are also pure. If you do something with your mind, physically, verbally or mentally, results will be fruitful. This is the second karma that Buddha has explained. The third, as the result of these white karmas, which consequence white results, beings will be reborn in heavenly realm and Brahma realms. They have no physical sufferings after they will be reborn. They don't need to earn money. As soon as they think something according to their spiritual energy, the facilities appear around them. And the third one, Atti Bhikkave Kammham Khanna Sukkam Khanna Sukha Vipakam. There are some actions, karmas that are black and white, which consequences, black and white results. There are some karmas that are black and white, which consequence black and white results. What they are? Black and white, they are mixed. It means while they are living in this human realm, sometimes they do good deeds with pure mind. Sometimes they do bad things, evils. For example, we can see some people in this world, daytime, they are okay, they are good people. How about at night? They are robbers, they steal something. Actually, sometimes they do good deeds. Sometimes they do bad deeds with the evil mind. As the result of these things, some people go to lower realms, and some people come back to the human realm, but their life is mixed with good and bad. Even though they are in the human realm, they have to work hard to earn something. And also they face some physical illnesses. They have a lot of problems because of some negative karma results. These three things can be realized by anyone. It is not difficult thing. But the very interesting and important thing that Buddha realized by his supramundane knowledge is the fourth one. Buddha says, there are some karmas, Atti Bhikkave Kammam, Akhanna Asukha Vipakam. There are some actions that are neither black nor white, which consequence neither black nor white. That is the interesting thing. Before Buddha appeared in the world, nobody knew this reality, fourth one. There were some ascetic people who had some psychic energy, divine energy, but they didn't know the fourth one. They had understood there are only three karmas in the world. They didn't know there is another karma, another actions in this world, and also they didn't know how we overcome ignorance or delusion. Here it is very important, neither black nor white. These three things can be realized by anyone. It is not difficult. But the important thing that we understand is the fourth one. When we do something with pure mind, seeking something outside with pure mind, as the result of good activities, we will reborn like this world. The reason is, we think there is something outside. It means bhava. In Pali language it says bhava. Bhava means becoming. We are ready to become in this world. If you think, when you remember your mom, if you think mom is at home now, It is true according to conventional truth. If you think other things and persons are outside, it means you are in this circle. It means you are not away from the samsaric circle. If you do some good deeds with your mind, you will have a blissful life, but it is in this circle. If someone does some bad deeds with impure mind, he also thinks that there is something outside. What is their ignorance? Before the experience, they think there was something outside. After the experience ceases, they think still it is there. Even though you left your vehicle in front of the temple, even though you don't think, you may think that it is there. It is true according to conventional truth, but that vehicle is alive when you think it. It is like when we go to the mirror, at the moment it appears, the reflection appears there. When we go away from the mirror, our reflection is not there. Our whole experience also like that. Buddha never says that there is nothing outside. There is something outside, but only 4 fundamental elements. Earth element, water elements, fire elements, and wind elements. We name, this is flower, this is water, this is table, this is pranandu, this is Buddha. We name something or some persons. But outside there is only 4 fundamental elements. That 4 fundamental elements are also arrived according to our inner mental situation. Now when I look at this one, this is a wall to me. I can go through this wall. According to my senses, my present senses, when my senses change, I can see through the wall. I can go through the wall when my internal senses change. There may be someone like a ghost, he can go through the wall. According to his senses, he can go through the wall. He can see through the wall. But according to my present internal senses, I can see the wall. I can go through the wall just now. Buddhism doesn't say that there is nothing outside. There is something outside that also appears according to our present mental condition. Here, there are only few people here, but when our eyes change, we can see a lot of beings around here. One day, one of Buddha's disciples, I think Reverend Moggallana, one of Buddha's chief disciples, Sariputta Moggallana. Moggallana was coming from mountain, like I think Gijjakuta mountain, Gijjakuta in India. While he was coming from the mountain, he laughed, seeing something. The other monks asked, Bhante, Moggallana, why are you laughing? He says, there is some reason, that is why I laugh. Please let us know why you laughed. Then Moggallana says, no, I don't say here. Now we are going to the Buddha. After we go to the Buddha, near the Buddha, I will tell why I laughed. When they went to the Buddha, other monks asked Bhante, Moggallana, dear Bhante, let us know please, why you laughed while you are coming from the mountain. At that moment, Bhante Moggallana says the reason in front of the Buddha. Dear Sir Buddha, when I was coming from the mountain, I saw a very huge ghost. If I told them there, nobody believes me. Why I am telling that incident near the Buddha? Buddha knows it. Buddha is a person who can trust me. That is why I am saying it here. What Buddha said it. Buddha said, dear monks, I saw this being when I attained enlightenment. Until now, I didn't tell it to anyone. Why is that? If I told it, other people don't trust me. Now I have a person who trusts me, then I also say that the same thing.
What was it, a good being or evil being?
Evil being. Yes, that is fine. Yes. Everywhere, actually, there are a lot of beings in this world. Through our eyes, we can see some beings. When we tune our eyes through our meditation, sometimes we can see. Not only by meditation, but sometimes when we reach death, sometimes we can see some lower realm beings. If we are going to ready to go to lower realms. And also when we are going to ready to go to higher realms like heavenly realm, near the death, sometimes we can see some divine beings too at that moment. And however, we are talking about the fourth one in karmas that Buddha says. After Buddha appeared in the world, Buddha himself realized the fourth one. What is that? In these three things, even though we do good deeds, we are in the samsaric circle. Because we are in ignorance. Avidya paccaya sankhara. Mental formations arise because of ignorance. What is that? We think something, thinking that there is something outside. Now, if you offer something to someone, you think there is some person outside, I am offer something to him. I am also here. Then we have a person, permanent person outside. We have a permanent person here. We have some permanent thing that we are going to offer. It means we are in this samsaric journey, in the circle. In this circle, we can do good deeds. We can practice merits, and also we can go to the higher realms. We can have a blissful life. But even though we become a blissful life, we are not away from challenges. What are the challenges? Decay, sickness, death, separation. That is why we have to overcome this circle. What is the attitude of out of this circle? Then we can offer something, but we don't think there is no permanent thing. At the moment I create this thing, at the moment I offer this thing, there is no permanent person outside. There are no permanent self here. There are no permanent thing that I offer. Reflecting on impermanence, with the understanding of the dependent origination, we can do some activities here. We can work, we can help others, even we can blame someone with kindness. But we do everything with the understanding of impermanence, with the understanding of the dependent origination. Little by little, we should try to develop the duration that we live without delusion. What is the delusion? Delusion means we think there is some thing or person outside. But the outside persons or things are created by our intellectual, mental situation.
So when you offer something, you should think this is impermanent, something like that?
Yes, actually finally we get only 5 aggregates. Whatever we do with offering or blaming or anything what we do, at the moment we have only a thought, present thought. That thought is not alone, it is with other 4 things with 5 aggregates. Whatever we do, think or do or speak or see or anything, whatever we do in our life is these 5 aggregates. We know very well these 5 aggregates arise at the moment. Every moment, these 5 things arise and cease. We have no any other thing except these 5 things in our life. Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we taste, whatever we smell, whatever we touch, whatever we think which happened in the past, we have only the present thought. That present thought also impermanent, because it arises with the conditions. When conditions are together, the experience arises. Immediately the conditions are separate, the experience ceases. Then we don't depend on outside. We completely depend on inside wisdom, reflecting on impermanence. And while we are living in the conventional truth with doing good deeds, little by little, we should go away from this circle. We are unable to avoid this circle immediately. Little by little, we have to go away. First, we have to overcome black karmas with polluted mind. Then, we have to increase white karmas, good actions with pure mind. While we are doing good karmas with pure mind, we should increase the duration of practicing neither white nor black karmas. Whenever we are in this mental condition, we are away from suffering. At that moment, we don't depend on outside persons or things. Even we don't depend on our physical body. At that moment, we don't feel any disease that we have in our physical body. Although we are in old age, although we have a very severe disease in our physical body, we don't depend on it. We completely depend on our intelligence, our wisdom. We don't get it as my or mine. Now, when we are sick, we think, I am sick. When we are going to old age, we think, now I am old. Now I am 50. Now I am 75. We have taken it as my and mine. Here, by practicing the 4th one, we effort to go away from physical things, material things. Little by little, we go to depend on wisdom. It means that we neglect the white karmas. We encourage other people to do white karmas. What is the reason? most people are not clever to overcome these karmas suddenly. They take time. When Buddha met very intelligent, wise people, Buddha immediately explained the highest truth, ultimate truth. But when Buddha met ordinary people, Buddha first explained the heavenly path, the importance of practicing white karmas. Buddha understood that they take time to go to the highest step. And here also, sometimes we can this reality to the people at once, quickly. But when they change little by little to the correct way, we can explain the fourth one to the people. And here, it is very important to understand the Four Noble Truths. When we are going to develop this fifth step, we have a clear understanding the path of liberation. And here, Four Noble Truths, understanding of Four Noble Truths is very important. Suffering, the cause of suffering, the cessation of suffering, the path that leads to getting rid of suffering. What is the suffering? Sankittena panchupadana dukkha, arising of five aggregates with ignorance is suffering. When we look at something, when we experience something, if we think there is something outside, there are flowers outside, there are water outside, there is pranandu here, it means I am ignorant. As soon as I look at you, I should be intelligent to see that first, this color came to my eye, immediately it ceases. After it ceased, I recognize you through my mind. That understanding, that realization also is impermanent. When I experience you, my first experience has ceased. Likewise, when we look at the sky, some planets and galaxies disappeared, have disappeared there. Not only those planets and galaxies, but if I look at just now, if you hear something just now, when you know that sound, when you understand this sound, what I taught, when you recognize as this is a monk, your first experience has ceased. You recognize me. You recognize my sound through your mind, not through your eyes or ears. Actually, we experience the death world. We experience death people. What is that? It means when we recognize someone, our first experience has ceased. When you remember someone who passed away, like your grandma or grandfather, you experience that the previous events. Likewise, when you look at me, when you see me, when you recognize me, actually I am dead. Like your grandma is dead. If we have this understanding, we have no any attachment with anyone or anybody. But we work with the ordinary people. They think we are also like that, but mentally we are in the higher rank. Like our mom plays with our children. Mentally, our mom doesn't play with children. But other people may think that this mom also is playing with the children. But mentally, she doesn't play.
So, if we do things, if we experience the 5 benefits without ignorance, with knowledge, with wisdom, don't that tend to lead for us to do something, or we tend to not do stuff because of that? For example, I know that I'm doing this with wisdom, so I'm doing it in my work, for example. But if I think, well, this work is impermanent, so I don't really need to do it because it's impermanent. So that with wisdom, when you use wisdom, that wisdom that you know things are impermanent and you all experience 5 ignorance, don't we tend to be more like indifferent toward things? And I'm not going to do it because
Yes, very good question. Very good question. Actually, if we have this understanding, for example, we know very well when we move from the mirror, the reflection ceases there. Although we know that reality, again and again we go to the mirror. If it appears, if it disappears immediately, why do we go there again and again? We have some benefits when we go there. Seeking this reality, we deal with the people in the world because we want to bring this physical life. Why do we live further? We live actually not for us. We live for other people to realize this message, to explain this message. After someone actually, this moment, we have only knowledge. We don't have the wisdom. We may say that we have wisdom, but we have, in this level, we have knowledge or intelligence, not wisdom. After we become this wisdom, they are completely different. Physically, we can eat, we can go somewhere, we can meet our parents physically, materially. But mentally, we are completely different. We can go to meet our mom. Now we are going to meet our mom who is there. Before we go there, we think mom is at home. Your mom is in Brazil, now I go to see my mom. When someone who is here, he or she may think that my mom is at home. As soon as I finish the class, I should run to see my mom. They go there thinking there is someone there. It is like, before we go to the mirror, we think my reflection is waiting there, I should go there. It is like that. That is ignorance. Even Arahant, enlightened person, also goes to meet their parents. We are going to meet our parents thinking they are there. But the Arahant, the enlightened person, is going to meet his parents like we are going to the mirror. You can understand? They think that their wisdom is very high. They think when they meet their parents, at that moment the experience arises.
But won't they think like this, for example, well, I don't need to go meet my parents because I already have this wisdom and I know my parents are impermanent. So won't they, my question is, don't they have the tendency of not doing things? Avoiding things because they already know that... Doing or
avoiding is not the problem. Even though you don't go to meet your mom, if you think mom is at home, that is your ignorance. It is not important going or not. It is another thing. Sometimes there are, ungrateful people. They never go to meet their parents. But they think they are somewhere. And even though I think my parents, they are somewhere. Sometimes they are in next birth, they may think. But however, in their mental world, their parents are there. But the Arahants hasn't, not like that. Their parents are alive when they think, when they see, when they hear, when they touch them. At the moment, like we go to the mirror, they experience. But they know very well, suddenly, immediately, that experience ceases.
So they still do it. They still do it, but with different knowledge.
Yes. Actually, this is the very clear path. If you can realize, the cessation of suffering is in this moment. It means we don't deal with other people in the world. Actually, we deal more with other people than we do now. Because he is compassionate after this experience. He needs to help others. Because people are suffering without this understanding. People are in the world with delusion, are suffering. They are so compassionate after this experience to be free from suffering. Because he has the karmic law. After someone enlightened, he knows very well the karmic law because he sees all over the world like his parents and children. Why is that? He sees his previous lives, a long journey. In this samsaric journey, there is no one in this world who is our mom or son or daughter. Then they are so compassionate, they are so kind to help others. They need to people to overcome suffering. That is why they dedicate their rest of life to the people. They eat not for them, they eat something for others. They walk not for them, but for others. As soon as they enlighten, they can pass away. But they live furthermore for the benefits of other people in the world. But they are free from suffering completely. They have overcome sickness, decay, death and separation. And first of all, we should have this knowledge. Knowledge is very important. Knowledge is wealth. The first understanding is the truth of suffering. And then we understand what is the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering is attachment, inner attachment. We all like our self. That is why we like or dislike. If we need to overcome this suffering, we have to remove, we have to eradicate this desire of self completely. And also that person sees the path of liberation, the eightfold path or three disciplines, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Virtue, concentration and wisdom. And after this understanding, knowledge, the intelligent person goes forward day by day, practicing 3 disciplines. Even though he has a lot of duties, responsibilities, works in this world, he gives the priority to practice this message. The reason is he knows very well this is the real path of liberation. Even though he earns a lot of money, even though he is the only king for all over the world, he is not away from suffering. Even though all people in the world are his children, he is not away from suffering. Real liberation, real freedom depends on decreasing, reducing delusion or ignorance. The path of decreasing delusion is reflecting on impermanence. Buddha says, I advise only thing. I say only thing to practice for ordinary people and extraordinary people. That is the thing reflecting on impermanence of 5 aggregates: arising, ceasing, danger, enjoyment, and liberation. 5 aggregates: Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. Forms, feelings, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. These 5 things are together. Every moment, these 5 things arise and cease. We have some enjoyment with these 5 things, but they change. That is why we face suffering, danger. We can't hold these things as permanent. Even our physical body, actually we can't control. Again and again we clean our body. We have to do it again and again. Even though we eat, again and again we have to eat it. This is the nature of unsatisfactoriness. That is why people haven't contentment. That is why they are seeking something again and again. If we want to fulfill our contentment, we have to overcome delusion or ignorance. This is the path of liberation. The Eightfold Path or 3 disciplines with the understanding of the 4 Noble Truths, depending on the dependent origination. And with this understanding, finally, we are completely living mindfulness with the awareness of our body and mind. Whenever we are away from mindfulness, it means we are in suffering. Whenever we are in mindfulness, it means nobody can disturb our peace of mind. Even though we are laughing without mindfulness, actually we are not happy. We are suffering. Even though we don't laugh, living in mindfulness, actually we are happy. Our happiness doesn't depend on our laughing, our face. Our happiness, liberation, freedom completely depends on understanding of 5 aggregates and reflecting on impermanence. Our real goal should be increasing the duration of reflection, reflecting on impermanence, concentrating our mind, living in mindfulness. We were born in this world to realize this reality. That is why we were born in this time. That is why we come here. Actually, we have a lot of wishes in our previous lives. That is why we have received these facilities. If someone hasn't these wishes, actually they are not here. They can't come. They can't reach here. Day by day, while we are going to old age, sickness, death and separation, we should go forward faster with the understanding of this reality. While we are going to old age in this speed, we should run fast with this understanding. Then we can win these challenges. If we are slow, we can't win these challenges because they go fast. That is why day by day we should increase the duration of practicing concentration and wisdom, living in mindfulness. This is the real refuge. This is the real safety. This is the real insurance that we have in our life. Okay. Thank you so much for your good attention, Pranandu. And now we are going to end this discussion. Today we discussed frequent reflections. Buddha says here that we should reflect on 5 things in our life: decay, sickness, death, separation and karma. These 5 things should be reflected frequently by anyone in this world. Not only monks or court people, but the ordinary people also should reflect on these 5 things again and again. Then they can win these challenges. Even though physically we face these challenges, mentally we are healthy. While our physical body is going to sicknesses, mentally we are healthy. While our physical body is going to decay, mentally we are young. While our physical body is going to fall down with death, mentally we are alive. We have overcome time and space. This is the purpose of the intelligent person. This is the highest goal of every intelligent person. This is the highest philosophy that Buddha has explained. This should be our dream. One day I should become this experience. We should imagine, we should dream it again and again before we die.
Is it okay to go and dream this, but also dream like how? Or is it okay to have both things?
Yes. Actually, we can follow both things in the same time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we can fulfill both of them. But the important thing is we should give the priority to this one.
Right.
Mm-hmm. When we have this higher understanding, actually our ordinary wishes also will be fulfilled very easily because of this highest intention. When we practice this path, actually the visible results can be seen in this life. For example, when you meditate again and again, your spiritual energy, your karmic force, your karmic energy increases. Then that karmic energy will result in this life. If you think by end of next year I will earn this kind of money, but because of your this spiritual energy, you will fulfill your goals before the end of the year. Yes. Okay, thank you so much for your good attention and participation. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may our departed relatives also receive this spiritual energy, and may they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives too. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñātīnam hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these meritorious activities, may guardian deities and angels also receive this energy, and may they enhance their spiritual energy. May they also attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels too, reciting the Gatha. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu sāsanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu desanam. Ākāsattā ca bhummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā chiraṃ rakkhantu tvaṃ sadā. By the power of all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation, the everlasting happiness, Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkha, bhayam pantā ca nibbhaya, sokam pantā ca nissokā, hontu sambe pipānino. Dukin pelena sat, dukin midetvā, bien pelena sat, bien eti vetvā. Sovim te venasat, somnas vetvā. Nitin me hamasat, suapat vetvā. May the triple gem bless you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.